Welcome to the 2YE podcast. Join us for this episode with our hosts, Ide, Michelle, and Stephanie, to discuss second year ideas, experiences, best practices, and how to make the most of your UCSD college experience. Ready? Let's start the show.
All right. Well, happy Friday. It's finally Friday, ladies. So, yay. Survived officially the first week of spring and the first remote week of spring. So there's that to feel good about.
Yes.
So if you're joining us today, I'm Ide. I'm the coordinator of the Second Year Experience program.
I'm Michelle. I'm the assistant coordinator for second year experience.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie, and I'm the program assistant.
And we're, just here. We're going to have a conversation, a really, down to earth, real conversation of just like, what does it mean right now to be second year student, just student really, with what's going on with this pandemic and the impacts it's having. I mean, we're all feeling those impacts in different ways, right? And and talking a little bit about why is this hard, and why might this be a challenging time, but also can we glean some silver linings, or seeing how this can also be a room for opportunity and growth. And I know sometimes that it's hard to see or get out of really difficult situations, but I think that with every difficult situation, there's always an opportunity for that. So we're really just going to have a conversation today. We're excited to be able to connect with you in different ways. And so this is one of the ways that we're really just trying to connect with you, even though we're working remotely and virtually. So maybe we can talk a little bit about, like, how has this last 2-3 weeks been for you?
I can definitely say it's been really strange, like being at home all the time. I always tell people that I'm a homebody. I like being at home, but it's as if, like, when I'm told like I can only be at home, then I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of weird because I'm very much, I really like routine. And so, in the mornings I go to the gym, drive to work, I have my routine at work, and then I put on my podcast, drive home, and then I get to do stuff at home. And now it just feels like everything's getting blurred into one.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels kind of strange. I don't know if you all feel similarly.
Yeah, definitely.
I for sure feel the same. I feel like I had a schedule, even though I didn't so I live in San Isidro, and my commute to La Jolla is about an hour every morning. I actually miss it.
The traffic jam?
I'm sure you never expected for those words to ever come out of your mouth.
It's weird because how Michelle mentioned, I had a schedule. I woke up at 6, left at 6:30, got to work at 7:30, work 8 to 4:30, then gym, get home. And now it's like everything's at home, but it's harder to even work out because I don't have the equipment or just running. I don't have my coach telling me to keep going. So it's been an adjustment. I also feel like it's hard to kind of stop. Even though I try to have that 8 to 4:30 schedule for work, if I get a meeting email even after 4:30, I'm like, let me answer it right now, or let me work on something else right now. So yeah, everything's just kind of mushed together. I do enjoy having more quality time with my dog Toby, but yeah, and then I live with 3 other women, my mom and my 2 sisters, so you can imagine how that can be. Love them to death, but sometimes it's too many women in the household.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
How about
you,
Ide?
Well, it's definitely been an adjustment. I mean, I'm still learning and adjusting, and I think this week maybe I've been a little bit more like patient and understanding with the fact that it is not going to be easy to really separate like home and work. I have a 3.5-year-old. My husband is also working from home, and no one really anticipated or planned for this, right? So we have one space that was kind of like the designated work at home area. And with us both having to work from home, I'm having to try to like find, okay, maybe is the kitchen going to work today? Is the living room? I'm outside right now, which is like a really nice day for it. But yeah, so I think we're still like negotiating that. And at some point, I'm sure you might see like my my son and my dog. So really just starting to be more even understanding with myself and compassionate about the fact that like I'm gonna do the best that I can, but there's just it's not realistic to not be interrupted and not have those things blurred, kind of like how you both were mentioning. It's just it's hard to do both at the same time. So.
Right. And I've been hearing from students too that like they feel like spring break isn't really over. Like this quarter hasn't really started, but then it has. Like it's like this, and some students are like in the middle of moving, like either back home or back on campus. So it feels like a never-ending like transition phase. I've heard that.
Yeah. And this is the end, I think, for, the three of us, where it's the end of like week 3 that we've been kind of working remotely. And moments feel like, wow, has it been 3 weeks? And other times I'm like, it feels like months. It feels like months. How has it only been 3 weeks? So yeah, I think we're definitely in the same boat as students are, in that we're just kind of getting used to our new normal, and what does that really mean, and what are some things that have been maybe that you have found helpful in trying to adjust or transition to this new normal? Have you found some things that have been helpful for you all?
Yeah.
I think one of them is being patient. I know, Michelle, you mentioned we had these 2 weeks and now we're in our 3rd week technically. So I think these past 2 weeks and even this week, I've been learning new things, or like how to manage my laptop, how to manage Zoom, how to get, download applications onto my Mac computer. But even it's an adjustment, being patient and just trying to see what works for you. So like right now, I know I said that it's really hard for me to have that 8 to 4:30, but I'm really trying. And then after that, it's like, okay, chores. Let's go for a run. Let's hang out with mom, or something that makes the quality time, because it is such a unique situation. And I think I was always so much on the go. Like I wouldn't come home till 9 p.m. So I'd be out from 6:30 to 9 p.m. And now I'm here 24/7. So just being patient with myself, being patient with my family, and trying to set some sort of schedule that works. I mean, I'm still learning, still trying to see what works. But again, it's a never-ending transition.
Yeah. For sure. I think I'm like you, Stephanie. I'm still trying to keep to somewhat of a schedule. I'm still trying to wake up early. It's not as early as before, I won't lie, but I'm still trying to get up early in the morning and be active before like coming into work. And I like separated a room. I like put a desk in a bedroom to make it feel like, okay, when I come into this room, like this is work time, and I can compartmentalize like the things that I do in my head. So like when this table is in here, that means I'm working. And when I leave this room or when I take the table out, that means like my work day is done, or like my class day is done. So that's the kind of way I try to compartmentalize it too. And then I've been telling myself like, there's a lot of projects I've been wanting to do around the house anyways, or things that I've been wanting to get back into. So like this is a perfect opportunity to do that. but I am still struggling with like actually building out a schedule. But I did write down like all the things that I've been wanting to do that I always told myself before that I didn't have enough time to do. So I'm like, I want to take advantage of this time, because I don't want to look back on this time and be like, dang, I was at home for like 2 months, 3 months, and I didn't get to do the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm kind of thinking about it. And I'm still being active. Like I'm learning to be active like throughout the day, like breaking it up so that I don't get bored either. Because I find myself like if I'm not like trying to do something, I'll end up like binge watching Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Which is also okay, right? Sometimes
yeah.
like that's what's needed, right? To
Yeah.
de-stress.
I know, and I feel like all the times I find this need to like be productive and like to always get things done. And now I'm finding that I'm getting like the best sleep I've ever gotten. If I don't get to things, I know I can always do it tomorrow. So even though it's a more stressful time, in a sense, I feel more at peace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about that transition and like modifying it, right? Like
Yeah.
you said, binge watch Netflix. Sometimes I have it in the background and I'm like, okay, like I'm working on some paperwork, but
Yeah.
trying to be smart about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's definitely like really hard because it's just such a unique time, right? It's the first time just in the US, but just almost globally as well, where we're being asked to think communally in a way where, like, you know, staying home and staying away from folks is really a way of caring for you know, people that might be more vulnerable in the community, for, you know, family members. But it's really hard because we're such social beings, right? And so finding that balance and also realizing that it's hard to be as productive in times of high stress, but how can we like still find ways that we're going to be grounded or have our moments to still feel like, okay, maybe today the best thing I can do for myself is, you know, try to have an hour or a structure of when I'm going to work and do this, but also maybe I just need to binge watch that Tiger show or maybe not, but
Tiger King.
Tiger King. I have found that, well, definitely in the beginning, I say the first week was really, really hard for me, and feeling just all sorts of really anxiety and feeling overwhelmed. And one of the things that I really try to do a lot was actually connect with my family and loved ones. And so having time to feel that connection still. So making, you know, maybe dinner dates with my family or checking in every night, at least for a few minutes, something that I haven't necessarily done as much, but right now feels like it's just something that's really helping me stay grounded and reminding myself like, okay, even though we're physically not close, we're still close and we're still going through it together. But even just like making an appointment with my therapist too. It's like,
good.
I had a moment of just like, I'm feeling, you know, all these different feelings, and I need to be reminded of some tools and skills of like how to manage this right now. And that was like really helpful. And I think at that point was a little bit of a turning point for me of just being like okay with things not being okay.
Right.
And just trying to do the best and have as much patience with myself too, with this just, you know, being this unique part of all of our lives.
So much uncertainty. I think that's the hard part. Too.
Yeah. So I know that you talked a little bit in the podcast that you did, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard it yet, you have to hear it. Go to the YouTube, Quarantine 101. But talking a little bit about like, you know, so why is this like really, really hard time?
Yeah, so in the podcast, we talk a lot about Dr. Brene Brown's research, and she studies a lot on vulnerability and like courage and stuff. And she talks about terrible first times, or TFTs. And if you think about it, we're all in a first time. We're all experiencing this global pandemic. Nothing like this has ever happened to any of us before. And so there's no precedent about how we're supposed to go about these things. And Dr. Brene Brown says that like first times are always really tough, like no matter what they are, even if they're small things like trying to start a new habit or coming to UCSD even for the first time as an undergraduate, to things like a global pandemic. It's difficult. And I think we're all kind of in the same boat. So yeah, I think that terrible first times, they're really hard, and they feel really vulnerable because we don't really know how to move forward. But we do know that things get better as you kind of work through it. That first times pass, right? Because you get used to it, you learn how to cope, and then you get better at it, like with any skill. So yeah.
And also, and this is something that I was reminded this week too, which is that really all of life really is just, it's temporary. Like if we think about all the phases and the things we've done, like, you know, maybe, you know, we're looking at something that's going to be a few months, right, of being remote. I mean, who knows at this point? We're not really sure. But every stage in our life really is temporary. So reminding ourselves of that too, and everything that we've come to at this point, we have experienced new times in. We've had the same kind of feelings. Maybe it hasn't been as apparent as this, which is like so different and new.
It's like all in your face.
All in your face,
you're in a first time. Yeah.
But even things like, you know, like going to UCSD for the first time, being a second year for the first time, you know, thinking about starting things like looking into maybe doing an internship for the first time or research for the first time. It's all new and it's all temporary. And so there is some reassurance in that, I think, as well. That if we've been able to,
go ahead. No, yeah, knowing that it's like it's a normal feeling, like we're all experiencing this, giving ourselves some perspective, that it's not going to last forever, and then being realistic about like what we can do in this time, right?
Yeah, and if you really think about it too, it made me think about my undergrad and even my transition after graduation. Every single year, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, it's a new TFT. Like it's new challenges, it's new goals, it's new great memories. But what you really said there, like it's everything that you do in life. Some things are reoccurring, but it's always kind of like a new chapter, even like a new year. Everything is new. And it's about how you react to those situations. So how Michelle said, like if you're setting up new goals, new schedules, and making the best of it out of it, obviously, knowing that there are going to be some hard times and some adjustments, but no, I got to do it. Thinking positive, trying to stay in the positive of the situation.
Right.
Sorry, my dog wanted to be playful right now. But yeah, I think that really reminds me too of this piece that you shared with us, Michelle, that's really, I think, so on point about like, well, who do you choose to be during COVID-19, right? And I had a moment like last week where I was like, okay, I've had a week of, being freaking out in my own, different ways. And that's okay too. This is new, it's scary, and like being okay with feeling our feelings. But I had a moment too of like, okay, well, this is happening. This is life. It's not a pause until life happens or until normal comes back again. This is going to be the new normal for right now. So what do you want to do about it? and I had a real honest conversation with myself and just said, you know, I'm gonna I want to try to learn a new skill and try to have intentional time um, in really being okay with being just with myself and having time to say, what do you need, Ida? What's going on? I think those are hard moments to give myself, especially as a mom of a young child. Um, but realizing that, okay, I definitely need to do that to feel like I'm going to be in a better place and a better able to be like, a coordinator, a mom, a partner, a daughter. And so, yeah.
It sounds like you're trying to make meaning out of this experience and making it, make it meaningful to you, that it doesn't feel like it just passed by, right?
Yeah.
What skill are you trying to do? What new skill are you trying to pick up?
So, and I was just thinking too, like, what should I do? What could be like de-stressing or a skill and something I haven't done in a while. And I don't know why I really kind of remembered, I was brought back to like memories of being like a young girl and like having my BS and my mom all together and having, we would do cross stitching. So it's when you have, if you've ever seen like pillowcases of like these vibrant flowers and stuff. So my BS would do that often, and I haven't done that in like ages. And I don't know why in the moment I thought that, and I've been thinking about that a little bit more. And I think part of it probably is that it brought some comfort to me, and I didn't realize that until like right now in talking about it. So I ordered on Amazon like this basic, simple starter kit, and I'm going to be starting it soon. And but I again, terrible first time. I'm like a little nervous because I haven't done it in forever, and I'm like, I don't want to mess it up, but also like that is the only way I'm gonna be able to start this is by messing it up and just trying it. So
it's okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And I've read somewhere that like we always think, I know this is true for me, like self-care like has to be productive, or that we have to do it the right way, or it has to be nice. And it's like, I can be an awful painter and I could still enjoy painting. Like it doesn't make a difference in the experience for you. Like it doesn't have to be like this great piece of art or perfect cross stitching. Yeah.
Or you just learn from it. You're like, okay, I'm not going to do this next time.
Yeah.
Terrible
first times. That applies to everything, I swear.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah, but I really do like that little graphic. Let me share it with you all now. But it talks about, let's see, who do I choose to be during the COVID-19 crisis? So it has 3 zones. So the fear zone, the learning zone, and the growth zone. And a lot of the things that happen in the fear zone are things like, I search and share everything I can find about COVID-19. I get irritated easily. I panic buy. I act like a victim looking who to blame. I hoard toilet paper, food, and medicines I don't need, which seemed to be a lot of people in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, there's finally toilet paper at the stores.
Yeah. And I think it's easy to be in this place. I think we all go through this place because it's what we're experiencing is really scary. I think because of the uncertainty, right? So I think it's normal to be in this phase, but I think it's not helpful and not very productive to stay in this, either for yourself and for other people, right? Mm-hmm. And then it talks about the learning zone. So moving from fear zone into the learning zone, it says, I start to let go of control. I stop consuming that which causes me harm, from the news to what I eat and drink. I make a program for myself to make use of the time. So kind of like a schedule. Mm-hmm. And it says, I recognize that everyone is doing their best while facing an extremely complicated situation. Mm-hmm. And it says, I look for opportunities. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this is also a good place to be. It's more like self-care, like stop consuming like news. I know the news is like, it's really hard to watch nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like constant COVID-19 stuff and how the administration is handling it. And I think it's okay to take breaks from that.
I remember, I mean, when we were still in the office, Steph, like you would share, like, I can't stop hearing it. And like, we would be like, Steph, maybe that's not the best thing right now.
Yeah.
Like, maybe taking a little break from it is okay. Like, how are you doing with that right now, Steph?
Yeah, I definitely resonated with that. I think being in the fear zone, again, it's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of I don't knows, a lot of like, let me prepare, which is why there's so much hoarding of toilet paper and food. But now I think given the last couple of weeks, obviously things aren't better. But I think I've learned from that, like, it's not helping me hearing this all the time or telling my family all the time or just checking in with people all the time wasn't helping me and wasn't helping the other people either. So I am definitely more into the learning and growth zone because I feel more assured of what's going on. Even though I feel so unsure about what's going on, I feel a little bit more like, okay, I'm doing okay. I'm learning. I've made a progress.
Or we're just doing the best that we can with what we have right now, right?
Exactly. Looking for the opportunities that I have. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's good to stay informed. So something that I've been doing is just like, I just check one news source site that I know I can trust, and that's been like the New York Times post. I read through the updates, and I'll read the updates that interest me or feel pertinent to me, and then that's it. I don't check it any after that. And I used to check it before I went to bed, which was like a really awful idea because then I couldn't sleep because I was worried. So I give myself like that 30 minutes to review the New York Times in the morning, and then I call it a day. And after that, I'm going to live my life. If there's another update, I'll see it tomorrow, you know?
I used to have the app that gave me notifications every single time something came up. I deleted it.
Yeah.
Nope. This isn't helping.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be so, again, like bringing us back into the fear zone of just like feeling like, you know, we start, or I know I was just thinking of all these different scenarios and worst case scenario. And then I started feeling like that was the only scenario that was going to happen. And so I think, you know, having some distance from that, like, yeah, staying informed, but being like, okay, what's happening right here, right now? You know, what can I control right now? Has definitely made me feel a little bit more functional.
Right.
Yeah. And it's allowed to be like in this learning zone. So even for us in the program, like, you know, being able to do this, you know, having this conversation, this is an opportunity that we just, you know, hadn't thought about before. And again, so we're trying to see where is there an opportunity for us given the situation, which is hard and is unique, but that we can still make the best of it with, again, the tools that we have.
Right. And I think you perfectly really explained the difference between the learning zone and the growth zone. So learning is really like, how are we coping with what's going on? And then the growth zone is really like, how can we make this a meaningful experience for ourselves? So the growth zone says, I think about others and how I can be of help. Living now, so being present with a clear picture of what's next. So knowing that this is going to be over and what is our life going to be looking like after that. And it says, I am not in a waiting room or the in-between. This is life. Ask, how do I want this moment to be? And then to be appreciative and be grateful. So practicing gratitude. Yeah.
So I know for, you know, this reminds me a lot of like, you know, our students too. And so, you know, we've had a lot of our students that are in our program right now that we're planning to go abroad, you know, this summer, and that's canceled or postponed, or, you know, we're thinking about maybe that internship, and that might be feeling like, well, what do I do now? And again, I think that reminding us and reminding you all that are seeing this that this is life, but that we still can plan for the future given where we are now. Things are changing every day, but that's not different from when, before COVID-19 actually, right?
Yeah. That's life.
That's life. Yeah. Things definitely happen. And so, but still, like, what is there still room in which I have control of how this looks for me? So, even thinking about like, okay, well, maybe, the summer didn't work out to study abroad, but, a lot of the longer programs, you take some time to plan out. So maybe planning out for something like next summer is still something that's totally feasible and in a good time and place to do that, and you can still have meetings through Zoom with Studying Abroad office, with academic advising, through the VAC, or an internship, right? Or that research opportunity. A year window is actually a really great time to have to plan that out. So this might actually be a really great timeline for some of our students. So seeing again where there's that opportunity.
Right. And there are going to be internships available, research positions, study abroad programs are going to start up again. Like graduate school is not going to disappear when this is over. So this maybe is a good time to like take a pause and like work on a plan towards those things, right? Because a lot of time we know the quarter system is fast. We could be in our 4th year, 5th year, and it still feels, we've been working at UCSD for how long? And every quarter, I'm still like, oh, how did we get to week 10 so fast? Yeah. So we never get used to it. And I think in the hustle and bustle of things, it's really hard to make really intentional plans about how you want to spend your time. So like now you have that time. Now we have that time about creating intentional plans about what we want to do with our time once we get to start again, right?
And this could also be an opportunity to plan out for some type of self-care. I know that the quarter system is still taking its place and y'all are still taking classes at home, probably remotely working, whatever situation may be for you, but you are at home. So maybe taking, a breather, taking a pause for yourself, because the quarter system is so fast paced, and then we could see it with all of you. Like there were times when we would ask you, "How are you doing?" You're just like, "I need sleep," or "I need to. I haven't eaten," or "I've been studying." So if you're at home and if you have the chance to, practice some self-care with whatever it is that means, given that you're at home already, might as well try to do it. But working on that schedule as well and being productive at the same time.
Yeah. And just, being flexible too, with understanding and having patience with yourself, with whether if you're home with family or roommates, that we're all getting to know each other a lot more intimately than any of us had intended to. Even with family, right?
That is so true.
So being able to have patience with ourselves, with each other, and knowing that, like it's going to be a transition, and it's going to be, it's going to take some time, but again, it's temporary.
Yeah.
Exactly how temporary, none of us know, but it's temporary. Nothing lasts forever, good or bad, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. But we do have here and now, and that's where we have the control, and that's the room for opportunity too that we have. So just like how you mentioned, Steph, like thinking about maybe what's that one thing that makes you feel grounded or connected, and can you spend 5 minutes doing that in your day? Maybe you're feeling disconnected, like the social distancing is real, but how are you able to still connect with folks, whether that's a phone call, a FaceTime, or this podcast, this, video podcast, checking us out on Wellness Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's a complicated time, and I think a lot of us are still trying to make sense of it. And of course, each of our process is different, right? And we may need different things, but knowing that, we're all doing this together, and that you're not alone in this. So despite us not being at UCSD all together, or, no longer having EDS 23 together, it doesn't mean that we're not here anymore and that we don't want to support you through this transition. We know that your needs are different, of you and your family or the folks that you live with. And that's real. Like, sometimes school may not feel like a priority this quarter, and that's also real. And also, we need to finish this quarter. So it's like, how can we manage both of those things, and how can we help you do both of those things, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that, that sometimes, I know for myself, work has been a great way to funnel some energy, and again, to be reminded of, like, okay, I can't control everything that's going outside of here, but I can control to some level the 8 hours that I have in a day, and how, I choose to connect, and how we choose to try to make the best of this, with our tapping into our skills in a way too that we just hadn't thought of, and being creative, and that might feel a little bit, uncomfortable. Like, I am not the most tech savvy person, and I mean, Michelle and Steph can attest to this, but you are
getting better though.
I'm getting better.
So much better.
And, like, I'm going to leave this, like, knowing a lot more about Zoom than I ever thought I would.
Yeah. All of us are going to be Zoom experts by the end of this.
Right? So, like, again, like, how can we see this as an opportunity? Where is there room for opportunity to learn and to do things that are still going to feel fulfilling, and that are going to fill our heart and ground us?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I completely agree with you both. And again, I go by this saying, it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to it. So I think all of us, again, first time adjusting to the situation and knowing how to manage it, patience also with us and with yourselves and with those around you, because it can be hectic and it can be stressful, but it's about how you react. So if y'all need a check-in, like, we're here for you. You will still be meeting with your mentors. I think I have a sense that we're making ourselves even more available because we know what's going on. So we have different means of communicating with you all. If it's through that YouTube channel, if it's through podcasts, through our website, through Instagram, Zoom meetings, like, there's so many platforms that we have and that we've worked these past couple of weeks for you all to have access to, that we know where we understand some level of what you may be experiencing. So we're here. Whatever, what's that hashtag going along? Together alone or together? There's this hashtag, but we're in this together. Even though we're not together, we're in it together.
We're still together.
Yeah, definitely. So, we want to hear from you. Like, what is it that you need? What would be helpful for you? We are trying our best, again, to connect and support you, and to be able to, still have you feel like, okay, this was what I needed. This was a place that I could connect to different offices or resources that I didn't know about, or that I might not have thought about. So let us know, like, what would you like to see for us, whether that's in these podcast topics, in the presentations for Wellness Wednesdays. We want to hear from you, because that's how we're going to be able to best know how to support you and to create the opportunities for us to fill that gap.
We're not going to assume what you need, because you all are unique and you're experiencing unique things and challenges. So write in the comments below what you want to, and I feel like a YouTuber,
Yeah.
Write in the comments
Subscribe.
below. Subscribe. But write in the comments below for real about things that you want to hear from us, maybe experts you want us to bring in. You know, even though UCSD is completely working remotely, it doesn't mean that other offices aren't open and that you still can't utilize their resources. So apart from us, you still have a lot of other people looking out for you that want to help you, that we can bring on here, or that we can do some sort of Zoom conference or Zoom presentation. So really let us know like how we can be useful to you all.
Yeah. Remember, Shy is expensive. So if you need it, let us know. We're going to make it work.
Yeah. And if we don't know, we're going to find someone who does.
Absolutely. So check out our website. You're going to be getting a Signifying invite from us. Check us out on Instagram. Connect with us. We're all here in this together, and we're going to get through it. Yeah. We are. Yeah. So thanks for joining us again. Thank you, ladies. It's always so nice to connect and just to have honest conversations about where we are, and hopefully this was helpful for students too, in realizing like, it's affecting all of us, but we're again in it together. So we'll be connecting with you all soon, but thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Happy end of week 1, y'all.
You made it.
Yay. Do a little dance, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.